Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Shadow bringing you guys another video. This time I'm facing my buddy Mark. We are in a soccer mirror at this impromptu local. He's going first, ends up doing a Tashigi turn one, finds a Kuzan. I think going second is the move here, so you can at least establish Kuzan on turn two if you do see it. If not, you do get the card draw. And he does use his Saka ability there, pitching the Hound Blaze and drawing an extra card. I open up with a brand new, which only can grab a Navy card, and I end up grabbing Tashigi over Sengoku. The Sengoku is a one of in the deck currently, but I wanted the Tashigi just so that I can dig a little deeper and find some other options in case, I needed something. And again, you do see here he is pitching an Uta for leader ability. I haven't used my leader ability yet, but I honestly need to get myself in the habit of just filtering out as much as possible. I just ended up liking all the cards in my hand, so I thought it wasn't worth it. And here he establishes a Brook and passes turn to me, so I was able to wipe my board, which is unfortunate. So I do start with a Tashigi here, looking for basically a 2k reduction or a removal card, which you do see I do grab Sword, which Sword will bottom deck a 2 and a 1 cost, so I'm just going to swing 6 with leader, reduce that Brook to a 2, and then Sword the Tashigi and the Brook. And it bottom decks it instead of sending it to trash, so he is unable to do a Rebecca grab Brook, play Brook onto the field type of play. So you see I did pitch that Hina for leader ability, and he does the same with the Tempest kick. So that's the great thing about Saga, just being able to cycle as much as possible. And I do counter out of that swing with a Tashigi there. Don't want to go down too much in health that early on, and just kind of put myself in a risk. So then you do see establishes Kuzan and Tashigi. So at this point, I want to remove this Kuzan. Don't want to leave it on the field because it's going to be his biggest thing for reduction. So I do play the Hina minusing 3, Hound Blaze, as you do see, bottom decking that Kuzan, swinging for 5, and I'm just going to swing 6 with Sakazuki leader once again, getting them down to 2 life and at least having him pitch 1 card for counter. So he swings his Tashigi into mine, which is okay. At least the swing that it's not going to be a Hound Blaze and then beefing up that Tashigi to swing at face. So I do take this life, and I believe it's a Hound Blaze, so I considered on triggering it, which I decide not to. And here you go, he does Sengoku, and he was looking for the Kuzan that I just bottom decked. So good thing I ended up bottom decking it instead, because at best you do see he was only able to play Hina, not Kuzan, which was going to net him 1 card. So luckily, that's the great thing about Saka, just being able to bottom deck instead of KO to the trash. So at this point, I am trying to figure out how exactly to go about removing the Sengoku off the field, because I don't want to leave him on the board. It's just going to be a blocker, and if not, a 7k swing to face. In this matchup, there's no point in holding on the blockers just because you are able to remove them. But luckily for me, I do have 10 in trash with that Tempest kick, so reducing it down to a 4. Suru is going to bring it down to a 2 cost. And here I swing at leader and reduce that Hina down to a 2. I reduced that Sengoku down to a 6 with the Suru. There you go. Couldn't think. But I do use the Sword, bottom decking the Hina and the Sengoku, establishing my own Kuzan for a draw. The Sword is such a good card, just being able to keep up with the removal. But at this point, Mark has to be able to figure out how to clear my board just exactly how I cleared his. This is exactly how the mirrors end up going majority of the time. It's just clear your opponent's board, try to build your own, and then they're going to clear yours and try to build it right back up. So it's just always a constant cycle in this matchup. However, I do know for sure I need to start utilizing the Saka cycle ability. I guess it's just very situational, because again, if you have cards that you like that you can utilize, there's no point in doing it. But it is going to hurt me later down the game, and you're going to see towards the end. But he does start off with a 5k into the Hina. I decided not to save it because not too sure. It's very low cost where it's very easily removed, so I just didn't want to risk saving it for no reason. And you do see here he does utilize a Rob Lucci with the Tashigi from the hand, which was able to reduce activate main -2, and he chose the Kuzan, which does get it down to a 2. And then Lucci is going to pop a 2 and a 1, which is the Suru and the Kuzan. So maybe if I would have protected it, I would have had an extra body there, since not sure what else he had in hand for reduction. We do see a Mancherry there, which ends up putting the last 2 cards in the trash to grab that Tashigi back to hand. So it's just cycling out the 2k counter, which is what you want to do. You want to stay as healthy as possible. This deck's mainly all about removal, and you have to try to keep as much counter as possible. So obviously in the mirror it's not as, needed, but in like against the Zoro matchup, you need as much counter as possible. So here I start off swinging 5 at the Mancherry. That thing needs to go. It's just going to continuously cycle his trash. So I would have rather have gotten rid of the Tashigi just for that reduction piece, but clear what you can clear right away. So you do see I summon a Suru, which is going to reduce the Lucci down to a 2. My Saka ability reduced the Tashigi down to a 2, but there is no way for me to be able to remove both. So I at least got rid of the Lucci and the Suru, because that's at least something that I can clear. Don't want to leave the Lucci just because it's going to be continuously swinging at me. And you do see I established my own Kuzan, drawing a card, and then I think I draw into this Tashigi, which is going to net me a 2k counter, which is perfect. That's exactly what I needed. But at this point, now he's going to have to figure out how to remove 2 4-cost bodies. And again, in this matchup, very easy to do, especially since he does have this Tashigi on the field. Very unfortunate I couldn't remove it, so it's just going to activate main, reduce one of these characters by 2. So it's just going to be a leader swing, getting them, one of them down to a 1 cost, and then it's a Suru, which you do see in his hand right there. And then he can either sword or another Lucci, so all depending on how he wants to do it. So that Kuzan's currently a 2 cost. And again, this leader swing is going to get it down to a 1, which, and then, after that 1 cost Suru, bringing the Lucci down to a 2, and then now we're at a 2-1, and is going to be able to Lucci pop. But if he doesn't have it in hand, which he doesn't, we do see he has the Rebecca, which Rebecca is able to grab a 3 to 7 cost from the trash. So you do see the Suru come down, making that Lucci a 2 cost. At this point, I'm debating or not whether to counter out or take the life, and I decide to take it to just give myself a different option. So you do see the Rebecca, and then he plays that Lucci, which is going to bottom deck the last 3 cards in his trash, KOing my 2 4 cost, which is very unfortunate, but exactly what I needed to do. If not, the Lucci and the Kuzan are going to just swing for free at his face, and then Kuzan's going to reduce whatever I wanted to by 4. So at least at this point, I still have these 2, baby bodies, which aren't really going to do much for me. Again, it's right back to where we started on having to try to remove the field. Rebecca's not that big of an issue because it's just a 4-0 blocker. So the main things I need to figure out how to remove are the Tashigi and the Lucci, and nothing else. So I think I'm going to start off with a 5k swing into the Tashigi, saving the rest of the Don for other things that I can possibly do. So yeah, I do choose that Lucci to reduce it by 1, bringing it down to a 3. He gives me the Rebecca, which is okay for me. At this point, I just need something to reduce it by 1 more, because I believe I do have a Hound Blaze in hand, which will be able to bottom deck the Lucci to the bottom of the deck, and potentially just get another 5k swing into this Tashigi, which, not sure how much counter he has in his hand, but it's probably not where he wants it to be. So I do reduce pop that Suru with the Brook on play, and then I play my own Suru to reduce the Lucci down to a 2 cost, which now puts it in range for Hound Blaze. So I considered on putting it on the Suru there and just attach Don, because I was just going to go wide with swings, but I decided to just put it on Tashigi and add 1 more Don to pretty much guarantee that it clears that Tashigi, because if not, he would have to give me 3k counter there. And I do utilize 1 more Don for Tashigi shirts, finding the T-Bone. And I have 2 more Don, and I'm trying to figure out exactly what I'm going to do here. I don't have Mancherry in hand, but you are going to see I am going to use my leader ability, pitching that 10 cost Kuzan, drawing into a Mancherry, which I'm going to use right away to fish for a 2k counter from the trash. Which, realistically, you're going to see me pull out a T-Bone, but I'm going to switch it for a Rebecca, because I do remember that it is in the trash. Or I double check just to be on the safe side. But Do not add that card to your hand like I did, because as soon as you add it to your hand, it is resolved. And if you wanted to get that Rebecca, they can rule shark you on that. So make sure you fully look through the trash to guarantee you have what you want. But I played it like that. That 10 cost Kuzan, I wanted to establish the turns prior. I just was not able to, since he was consistently clearing my board. So there was never a point to just establish it without having any issues. Well, I potentially could have last turn popping the Lucci and then probably just swinging 5 into that Tashigi again, but it would have just left him with a body that could have potentially just swung out with. So I do take this swing. It was like a 10k, leaving him with 1 Don, which you do see does Rebecca, plays out of Uta. I could have potentially just countered out there, left myself with absolutely no cards in hand. But I figured since I do have the Rebecca, I could have bought myself some type of time. And you do see me looking through the trash here. And that's because, again, this Mancherry was able to survive a turn. So I am going to be able to cycle through the trash and grab whatever counter I want for free at this point, basically. What I really wanted to see was another blocker. And there is a Sengoku blocker in the trash. Unfortunately, Mancherry is only able to grab a 3 to 5 cost, so putting that Sengoku right out of range. So I can't grab any of the Surus, and I have to grab this T-Bone at this point. So I just put a Hina and a Tashigi Searcher to the bottom. It doesn't matter. I put all the events pretty much in the bottom already. And this is where not utilizing sock ability really hurts me. There is a Rebecca at the top of the deck here. I looked at it after the match. If I would have utilized sock ability, pitching something from my hand to seeing my next draw, it would have put me in a way better position. I do end up losing this match, spoiler alert, and it's because you're going to see here, he's going to swing out. But if I would have utilized sock ability right here and just trying to give myself an option to see what I could have got next, I would have been able to establish a double Rebecca blocker and forced him to use more Don on removing. So he did bring up to me, why didn't I grab a brick from the trash to pitch it for my leader ability to see? But then that's also just a gamble. I figured I'd guarantee myself some type of counter from the trash, guarantee that 2k blocker, and I'm going to guarantee a 1k with Rebecca ability from my hand to pretty much have 15k counter in hand and establish a blocker, so that if he does try to remove next turn, it's going to cost him way more than anything. But yeah, as you do see, I do swing 5 with leader. I attach a Don, swing 5 with Brook, but I reduce that Uta down to a 0 with 1 from the leader, 1 from Brook. Brook will pop a 0 cost. And that leaves me with 8 Don left. So I do swing 4 or 6k with the Tashigi. And honestly, again, I should have just attempted to do my leader ability. But again, I'm just guaranteeing that I get the counter that I need. So I do play the Rebecca, grabbing the Sengoku, and I pass turn. I played it over the Suru. And I have exactly 15k counter. And here my opponent, Mark, is just going to play out a Suru for 1 Don and then Hound Blaze for 2. Bottom decking this Rebecca, giving his leader plus 3k, and he attaches the last 7 Don, giving him 15k. So just barely lost this game, but it was a very good one. But as always, if you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment down below what you guys thought of the matchup, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.